Roxo Media House.
From the Roxo Media House studios here in Fort Worth, Texas, this is Frogs Today. Football open conference play last weekend with the heartbreaking 35-34 loss to the University of Central Florida, but played the best football in the Sonny Dykes era and now look to take the Iron Skillet for good as they take on SMU across town tomorrow at 4 p.m. Your number 23 ranked volleyball team continues to move up in the rankings and at 6-2 on the young season take on day 2 as hosts of the Horned Frog Invitational tonight at 6:30 p.m. against Denver. And senior Melanie Parra just keeps getting better and better. As we turn to women's soccer, the ladies are 1-0-1 in Big 12 play with a big win over BYU last night at Garvey Rosenthal. This comes after they dismantled Cal Poly on the weekend on senior day 5-1. The Cougars of BYU currently sit at number 21 in the RPI and a perennial national powerhouse who were the nation's number 1 seed going into the College Cup last year, losing to Stanford in the semifinal. Huge win last night for the Horned Frogs and host Arizona on Sunday. Triathlon and men's cross country continue their undefeated seasons as triathlon grabs their second consecutive win at the Duquesne Invitational in Pittsburgh. All 6 racers for the Frogs finished in the top 10 in the event. Men's cross country has raced in 3 events and won all 3 to continue their historic start to their season at the Texas A&M Invitational, led by 5 individuals finishing in the top 10. Equestrian starts where they left off with a rematch of the national championship against the SMU Mustangs this morning at home at the Bear Creek Farms. The number 1 Mustangs against the number 2 Frogs. Head coach Haley Schoolfield and captains Ashley Scully and Jessica McAllister get us caught up on this year's team, the ins and outs of equestrian, and what it's going to take to get a ring this season. Women's golf is looking to build on a 6th place finish at Pebble Beach to open the season, and the Betty Lou Evans Championship the very next weekend to now heading to Norman to compete at the Schooner Fall Classic. The men will build on their 8th place finish in their opening event at Sahaley in Washington South to San Antonio to the Valero, Texas Collegiate led by senior transfer Scott Roden, who had an individual 8th place finish in Washington with a 2-under second round, which included a hole-in-one finishing even par on the weekend. It's Friday, September 20th, and I'm your host, Isaiah Manning with TCU Men's Basketball.
And I'm Deasia Merrill with TCU Women's Basketball. The battle for the Iron Skillet will be put on hold after this weekend when our football boys head to Dallas to take on SMU on Saturday. Kickoff is at 4 p.m.
All our sports are getting started and continue to shine with soccer in the Big 12 with a doubleheader with a match last night and this Sunday. Volleyball looking to climb the national rankings for the first time in program history at number 23 and look to be 8-2 after wrapping up the Horned Frog Invitational tonight and tomorrow.
Equestrian is back and start their long season in a rematch that is getting underway right now in Burleson against the Mustangs. Triathlon and men's cross country are unblemished while our golf teams take to the road.
And let's not forget our defending national champion men's tennis team who started their fall season joining the women's team in San Francisco at the Battle in the Bay Classic. Both teams get ready for the ITA All-Americans.
The beach volleyball fall schedule has been released and we get to all that and more on the other side of this break, starting with football and volleyball. We will be back after a word from our sponsors, Richard's Rainwater.
The best tasting water comes straight from the sky, leaving just pure, refreshing raindrops in every bottle. Taste the difference, sip the sky.
What do you see when you look up at the clouds? At Richard's Rainwater, we see the greatest source of pure, delicious water looking right back down at us. We've invented a simple, powerful technology to collect and bottle rainwater. Our process begins with the rain. When clouds become saturated, droplets fall from the sky. Rainfall is a naturally cleansing event. During the first few minutes, the raindrops clean the atmosphere and wash away any dirt or debris from surface areas. At this cleanest point in the rain cycle, we collect the pure raindrops into large storage vessels. Then, we use a simple, yet effective combination of ozone and microfiltration to ensure our rainwater surpasses the highest drinking water standards. We pour the pure, refreshing rainwater into glass bottles and aluminum cans, packaging as infinitely renewable as the water itself. Richard's Rainwater is building a network of collection systems across the country to ensure our rainwater is local everywhere. The purest, best-tasting water comes from the sky. Richard's Rainwater, sip the sky.
We are back in the Roxo Media House studios here in Fort Worth, and I'm your host, Isaiah Manning with TCU Men's Basketball. We have to kick this week's show off with the equestrian and their season opener that is kicking off as we speak at the Bear Creek Farms in Burleson. It is a rematch of the national championship from last season against the SMU Mustangs. Equestrian head coach Haley Schoolfield and company have been preparing for this all summer, kicking everything off with the purple-white scrimmage to get ready for today.
So we're a team of about 43 women from all over the country, and we've been preparing for the past 3 or 4 weeks for tomorrow and the season to kick off. We have a lot of returners and we have a lot of freshmen, so we'll be learning a lot about our squad in the next couple days. You know, dust off and look at our strengths, look at our opportunities for improvement. So we'll have 4 events. We'll have in the Western, we'll have reining and horsemanship. And then in the jumping seat, we will have equitation over fences and equitation over flat. They all ask for a different form or kind of execution of the horse. And but they all come down to feel and confidence and just incredible horsemanship, which each of our women bring to the table.
What is it about the work that the equestrian team puts into being the best team in the country?
This team culture and chemistry is led by the team. Our captains and our team leaders really put a lot of stock and value in team chemistry and cohesion, and so they set a lot of our team expectations, and they see the value of their time in the weight room. They see the payoff from working with Coach Larson, who is an incredible asset to TCU and our program. These women are all proud to be here, and they're proud of the TCU brand. So they're going to work hard to continue to bring their best. And a week in the life of, so we work out 3 mornings a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 6, and then practice is typically Monday through Thursday from 8 to 12, and Fridays are either a free ride day, a competition day, or an extra practice day. So we do things very differently than a lot of teams. We try to model like a working woman's schedule, and we're kind of an 8 to 5 minus workout, so we love it.
The biggest competition is only 45 minutes away, and today will set the tone for the season. The rematch against SMU is something the team looks forward to. Schoolfield, as well as 2 of her captains, Ashley Scully and Jessica McAllister, weigh in.
Yeah, I mean, it's always fun, you know, having a meet against SMU. It's tough because we might be rivals in the sport, but we all kind of grew up together on the circuit. So a lot of those girls are some of my greatest friends growing up, you know, so it's all intense, you know, during the meet, and then after the meet, you know, we're, you know, going to football games together and tailgating together and whatever it is. So, you know, we love those girls, but also, you know, we have something to prove after our loss in the national championship in April. And we always get a great crowd out here for SMU meets. And, you know, we're very confident in our abilities on our own horses and our own turf. So I think that's a great meet to start off our season with as far as confidence. And, you know, coming back from over the summer for girls who've been riding all summer, for girls who took a bit of a break, it's just a great chance for us to get kick-started. We have a very busy schedule this fall. We have 9 meets. You know, and right after SMU, we have an SEC road trip to Auburn and Georgia. So I think this is the perfect way to start off our season. You know, see the girls, see how everybody's riding, and then kind of determine roster going forward.
Yeah, I think coming off of nationals and losing to SMU, I think we're all determined that like we want to come back stronger and better than ever. And I think that really shows in like every day, like in practice, and we're working to get better and better. But we also know that SMU is going to be the first meet. We want to learn from what we did last year, be better this year, and continue to grow throughout this season.
It's a crazy schedule. We believe you're only as good as your competition, and practice what's hard. So here we go, right? And it helps that our biggest rival right now is 45 miles away, and they're easy to get to. So we'll get a lot of practice, you know, just rehashing that old game.
Scully and McAllister go into what it means to be leaders of this team and what makes this team consistently successful.
I'm really honored to be a captain this year. You know, it's my 5th year. I'm finishing up grad school, and it's a really great opportunity for me to kind of step up and be a role model to my teammates. You know, I always have tried to like lead as per example, you know, my past 4 years, but this time, you know, there's more of a title to it. So just making sure I'm creating a very inclusive atmosphere on the team and making sure everybody is heard and seen and included in our team decisions. I think that's very important. And then my fellow captains, Jessica McAllister, Emily Lucibello, and Elizabeth West, you know, we kind of meet every week. We decide, you know, what our plan is going forward, you know, things to fix on our part and the team's part, and things to move forward with.
My biggest goal is to just be able to be a resource to the girls and help them compete to the best of their ability and offer assistance in any shape or form that they need, whether that's before they get on the horse, whether we're watching the horse together, watching it warm up, kind of see like what is the warm-up rider doing to like get the horse around, like what does the horse need, or if they get on the horse and they're in their head a little bit, I will be there and be like, what do you need? Do you need a pep talk? Do you need me to tell you you got it? Like, I am right there. I want to be the best resource I can to them, and that's my goal as a captain.
Yeah, so we take every meet, one meet at a time, and I think portraying that consistency and keeping the fire burning all season is what's really helped us out. We're very strong in all 4 of our events, but we're also very willing to learn from our mistakes and move forward with those mistakes. So, you know, using different strategies in practice, switching onto different horses in practice is great for away meets, you know, because going into away meets, we don't know what horse we're going to be riding and we don't know who we're going to be riding against. So there's a lot of unpredictability in our sport, and I think that's something that can be misunderstood to those looking at it from the outside. There are so many little minor complexities and things that go into meet day, and so many things that we don't know going into it. So I think that keeping a good mentality over everything is very, very crucial and vital. Our sport is incredibly mental just because you don't know what's going to happen. There are so many unknowns and question marks in it that just keeping a good mindset and staying confident in yourself and also your teammates is, I think, how we've done that.
I think the biggest thing for us is that when it's our time, like for the hour that we work out or the hour we're out here for practice, is we are head in the game, like this is our job, like we come out, do what we need to do, and after that time's up, we can go, we want to fuel ourselves, have breakfast, lunch, dinner, like we want to nourish ourselves as athletes. We take the time to do school, we take the time to take a break if we need to, but the biggest thing is that when we're out here, we have a job to do, and we want to put our best foot forward and work as hard as we can.
TCU versus SMU in Burleson. There's still time to get out there and watch this national championship rematch. Speaking of TCU SMU, our football team will head east on I-30 tomorrow to take on the Mustangs as well. Both teams are 3-1, and Sonny Dykes returns to Dallas, where he spent 4 years as head coach with SMU from 2018 to 2021. Yeah,
this will be, I think, my 6th Iron Skillet. We had one canceled for COVID. So, it's, always a good competitive ball game, kind of a lot of emotions between fans and that kind of thing. It's interesting. I don't know that within the players, it means maybe as much as it used to, or maybe as much as it does to the fans. But our guys see it as an opportunity to get a win against a really good football team, and kind of get back on track. And so our players will be excited. I think they're looking forward to going over to Dallas and playing on the road and playing against a quality football team. So, it usually brings out the best in both teams, and I'm sure it will this week.
This historic matchup has been played all but 7 years, starting in 1915, equaling 102 games. The Frogs own the Skillet, of course, with a 34-17 win last year at the Carter. TCU leads this series 53-42-7. Both teams were edged out last weekend and sit at 2-1 on the season, with the Mustangs losing to Big 12 BYU 18-15, and the Frogs losing in a heartbreaker in the Big 12 opener to UCF 35-34. In that loss to the Knights, TCU played some of the best football since Coach Dykes has been at TCU.
About as well as we can play on both sides of the ball, really, and on special teams as well. I thought it was about as close to a perfect performance against a very good football team. And, you got to go back a while to see us play as well as we did in the first half. And, I mean, we played pretty good at times in 22. I don't know that we played a half of football against a quality opponent that well, even in 22. So I was encouraged by that, and then we start the second half with a touchdown drive to go up 21. And then, had some drives in the third and fourth quarter that, got down to the 1 yard line and got a false start, which killed us. Had to kick a field goal there, had 3 plays in a row on one drive that if we execute any of the 3 plays, we score a touchdown on them, and just didn't execute at the level that we should have. And so, and then a ton of things defensively. So, just things that we got to improve on. And those plays come up when you play against a quality football team. Central Florida's a good football team. They're going to have a good year, very talented, kind of a unique team with the quarterback having the skill set that he has and their defensive front. So it was a challenging game for us. And like I said, I thought most of the game we played well. We just didn't close it out like we needed to.
What did the Horned Frogs learn from last weekend? How did they move forward, the running game, and how to bounce back and be ready for SMU? How is the team preparing for SMU, and what do we know about the new ACC team?
Rhett was my coordinator when I was over at SMU for a couple of years, and then came back as the head coach. And so I've known Rhett for a long time, got a lot of respect for him, good football coach. They've done a good job with the program over there, and they got a really talented football team, a lot of good players, rosters full of 4- and 5-star transfers, 3 defensive linemen starting from the University of Miami. A lot of really highly regarded players, and the running back right now is the #1 ranked running back in college football according to Pro Football Focus, and a defensive line will be one of the better ones we see, and a lot of 4- and 5-star players on the offensive line. So really, really talented football team, and a team that has a chance to be really good.
The Iron Skillet game is in its last year, and the Frogs hope to keep the skillet for good. Kickoff is set for 4 p.m. at Gerald J. Ford Stadium in Dallas. Moving to women's soccer, the ladies fought to a huge win over the BYU Cougars, something the SMU football team couldn't do last week. Head coach Eric Bell talks about this win over last year's #1 seed going into the College Cup last season.
I just think that you got to walk into the field believing that you're going to be able to take care of business, and don't necessarily know that our approach is proper. All right, so challenged them at the water break, and they responded with 2 goals before we got into the locker room at the half. So I was pleased with the second half performance because it's a good team, good history, and we only gave up 1 shot or 2. I think 1 shot in the second half. 1 shot in the second half. That's really, really hard to do against a quality side. So I'm really proud of our group. We have to do a better job of coming onto the field ready to rock and roll, right? And hopefully we learn some valuable lessons with that through a win as opposed to a loss, and we'll keep it moving and see what happens. I don't know anything about the history of it all or whatever, but it's nice to get a good result against a good team that's going to help us later on in the season as far as the NCAA tournament is concerned. So that's the most important thing. We try our best to recruit good players and to play a brand of soccer that is commiserate for being successful, not only here, but preparing them to be pros if that's what they want, right? And so everybody's process is different as far as being able to walk into our environment and be successful. And some of these kids are just kind of starting to get their legs under and figure out what college soccer is about, especially college soccer the TCU way, right? And so as we get into the season will get better and better because they'll be more acclimated to what we're trying to do, and they'll be more acclimated to the speed of the game, the physicality of the game, and the intensity of the game, right? So we'll continue to get better, and those young kids will, like Coach P would say, we got to grow them up. Yeah, I'm proud of them, but again, you can't rest on that, right? You got to continue to push to get better and be better a version of yourself on a daily basis, and so that's what we'll be focusing on tomorrow.
Exciting win for the Horned Frogs last night to the Big 12 preseason favorite. BYU advanced to the NCAA College Cup for the second time in 3 seasons and were the #1 seed last year.
I think obviously they score, but I think we have the talent to go back and punch them right back in the mouth. It was definitely a pop in the mouth for us, but I think what makes it better is we were able to go do it right back to them and then just continue building off of that. I think it shows that the growth that we've had throughout the season, and complacency is always an enemy, and I think we've done a really good job at growing through each game.
I think we're really confident right now, and I think we just need to keep our effort consistent and focus on the next game one at a time, and if we do that, we'll be successful. I know we will.
I think it's going to give us a lot of confidence, but our team is also, we need to be level-headed because at the end of the day, you're going to play another team, and at that point, any team can win. It's the Big 12. It's a good conference. It could go either way, even if you're the higher-ranked team. And also, I think playing against BYU and beating them is a statement because they were favored to win the Big 12. So it's just a statement, but now we have to focus on the next game and not get too content with where we are.
When that ball went in, I felt chills down my entire body, and it was just the best feeling because I dreamed about this and playing for the Frogs and helping the team get the win, and it was really electric, and I just loved it.
I think it's just the belief in the team. I think we were able to come together as a team and know we've had a few games this year where we probably shouldn't have lost. We got destroyed against Notre Dame. We lost to A&M. Probably shouldn't have lost to them. I think it's just learning through our games, and I think this is the first game we've been able to win after being down. So I think it's just kind of growing, and then the freshmen, it's awesome that they can just come on and do their thing, have the confidence to do it, and believe that we can win the game as well.
Tonight we'll all celebrate, obviously, but the next day at practice, the coaches put in our heads, we all talk about it before practice. We talk about having the best practice the next day, and we flip the switch and we're focusing on U of A tomorrow. We don't carry this game on to the next few practices.
I think just coming off this game, it's obviously awesome, but I think the biggest thing for us is to keep growing. I think that's what we need to focus on and not let off the gas. I think we need to keep growing each game and show people what we can do.
Arizona is up next for the Frogs on Sunday at 1 p.m. This comes a week after the Frogs celebrated their 7 seniors last Sunday after their 5-1 win over Cal Poly. Oli Pena has been here from the beginning, and she talks about her team, what it feels like to step on the field each game, and mostly the recognition on Senior Day.
It felt awesome. I am local, so it felt really nice that everyone got to come out, especially my family and friends. It felt really nice getting that, jersey from Coach Bell, and it, again, just really hit me even harder. I was like, dang, I'm a senior. And that's all TCU soccer is about, is our culture and feeling like everyone is family and friends here. That's all we're about. So, yeah. Every time I step on this field, I'm just in game mode. I'm coming for blood each time. So, yeah.
Bell is proud of his seniors and what it means to the program to have players come together whenever they have been here for 4 years or 4 months.
It's a special group, right? But it's mixed, as you said. You have some kids that have been here, 3 years, 4 years, and some kids that have just been 3 months, right? And so, but I think they've grown together in these last 3 months to be a good cohesive group, and they're doing a really good job of leading our team. And I don't know where we would be without all of them. They all play a pivotal role in what we're trying to do in a different way, and I'm happy that they're on board with what we're trying to do, and they've been excellent ambassadors of our program on and off the field.
Good luck, ladies. Stay right there, Frog Nation. We'll get you exciting volleyball, triathlon, and cross-country news when we return. We'll be right back.
We wouldn't be able to do the things we were able to do this year without the Flying T Club. So we got to continue to get people involved. It's more important right now than it's ever been.
Flying T is special. It's the best thing that I've encountered in college. It allows us to be able to offset a lot of the costs that our scholarships aren't able to cover. If people like winning, invest in the Flying T Club and NIL. This is really great for athletes and just for future students who want to come here and be a part of something special, man. I just think it's great.
It just means a lot to us players to see all the support and it's huge.
At Higginbotham, we put people first. So we simply start by listening to you. Whether you're searching for customized insurance, HR, or financial solutions to protect your home, car, health, business, or employees, our specialists are here to serve you, the people you care about, and your success. Higginbotham. Insurance, HR, and financial services. Inspired by you.
We are back at the Roxo Media House Studios here in Clear Fork, and I'm Deasia Merrill from women's basketball. Your 23-ranked volleyball team is back in action this week hosting the Horned Frog Invitational, and it started with a day one 3-1 win over an undefeated UTA team in easy fashion.
Yeah, I mean, I think we talked through it like this could have been a trap match for us, right? A team that we're supposed to win, but they're playing really good volleyball, and so I think we just kind of kept the eyes on the prize, and just hey, it's really nice to give a team their first loss of the season. They're local. They're probably, they're going to do well in their conference this year. So just trying to keep them focused that we don't let them surprise us. And luckily, we did a really good job on their two best hitters. Yeah, I mean, we hit a lot of our standard numbers tonight, which is awesome. We did actually, our perfect pass was not actually very good today. So that's something we will address, over the next couple of days. But defensively, we were touching a lot of balls and then just converting to kills, points right away. And that's something we've been struggling with up till tonight. So that was a big jump. And I was proud of them for that.
Head coach Jason Williams expects his team to be 8-2 coming out of the weekend. Day 2 is today with the match tonight against Denver at 6:30 p.m. and then tomorrow against Rice at 5 p.m.
Yeah, I mean, I think to start, the confidence is pretty high because we've got a 2-time National Player of the Week, just she's playing just some unreal volleyball. And I think I've talked about it before that just the buy-in is there. So once you get full buy-in, you train hard, and people just understand what the system is supposed to look like, then some special things start to happen. So I think we're not there yet, but we're getting there.
Senior Melanie Parra, who we pretty much mention every week on the show, continues to make history as back-to-back AVCA Player of the Week honors, along with being selected as the Big 12 Offensive Player of the Week each of the past 3 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, it's huge. I'm so proud of Melanie because it's not easy to do that, right? And it's a wear and tear on her. Tonight, luckily, we didn't have to use her as much, so she got limited swings. But it's huge for the brand. It's huge for the program. And I always tell everyone I want to take the program to a place it's never been before, and that's creating history, creating records. And then just getting wins. That's what we're trying to do.
Denver is next and then Rice to wrap up the event tomorrow, and freshman Alice Volpe has circled this game since the schedule was announced. The head coach of the Owls is her mom, Jenny Volpe.
Yes, this is a game I'm looking forward to. And whenever I committed, when I was like 16, Jason said oh, we'll schedule a game to play your mom so she can see you. And so I didn't think he was being serious, but he was. And so I think it's really cool that he actually made that happen, and I'm excited to play them.
Alice has grown up around a lot of volleyball, and just 8 games into this season has made a significant impact on this team. What does she attribute to that success?
Just all the support from my mom, my family, my coaches at home. Getting to grow up watching volleyball, I've definitely known more than normal kids would, but just all the training I got was probably what got me here. She was definitely a huge role model for me, and she actually didn't force volleyball on me. I played many sports before volleyball, and then I just kind of came to it myself, and she was super excited when I did, and so she let me fall in love with the sport myself, and then she was just kind of a guide for me.
With her mom coaching a consistent NCAA tournament team for all these years, why did Alice end up at TCU? What was that conversation like in making that decision?
Yeah, she definitely helped me through that. She just asked me, like, what are my values? What am I looking for? And yeah, that was really it. I wanted to play on a competitive team, high-level volleyball, and the team culture was a really important thing to me. And so when I came on my visit, I got to shadow the team, and it just was amazing to me how great the culture was. And the coaching staff is amazing, and when I came on my visit here, I just knew that this was my home and this is where I was meant to be.
Alice talks to her mom on a regular basis. The questions are, will she talk to her on Saturday? And with knowing Coach Volpe's style so well, can she share anything with the team about the upcoming opponent?
Yes, I will. Maybe I'll try to get a few secrets and help out our team, but I mean, if we just play our game, I think everything will go well.
Alice has played in all 8 matches for the Frogs, starting 5, and is 4th on the team in digs with 67. What she has learned most about herself since she has been at TCU is she obviously has been around top collegiate volleyball way before she arrived at TCU. So in her mind, what is it about TCU that can get them into a deep run in the NCAA tournament?
I feel like I learned how to believe in myself, and a lot of that comes with the support staff, like our coaches believing in me, my teammates believe in me, like just being a freshman. Like I know I can go to anyone and they'll always support me. So everyone's heart is in it. Like we're all extremely committed. Melanie carries a lot of load. Like we just want it really bad, and I think we've shown that. So yeah.
Congrats to Coach Williams and his entire program for such a strong start. Check them out tonight at the Schollmeyer at 6:30 p.m. as they take on Denver. Triathlon is off to an undefeated start, going 2-0 in races in South Dakota and last week in the Beaver County Tri-Cup in Pittsburgh. In their second season looking to improve on their 6th place finish at the national championships, they are for sure on track. Head coach Jenny Garrison and returners Annie Velcheva and Jenny Buchanan talk about the 2-for-2 start to the season.
No, we're really excited. We chose some early season races to give everybody a chance to race. We spread it out, which is kind of new for us, and send different girls to different races. Again, just to get an opportunity to build culture among the team, to travel together, and give them a shot and sampling of different parts of the country, racing against different kids. So it's been a good start. I think I like how that worked out, and it's built up their confidence, and I think that's been really great. Yeah, we're just in a kind of a deep dive of training right now, getting a lot of hard stuff in before we rest next week and have our home race, which I think will be kind of a sample of nationals, just because all the top teams are coming to our race. So I feel like it'll be very competitive and exciting at the same time. We won't have our full squad racing. We have Maria is injured. She rolled her ankle at a cross-country meet, but she'll be back by nationals. So we're giving her a little break. And then EPEC should be back by the end of the season as well. So we'll have 12 girls racing there of our 14. So we're excited about that.
I mean, it's a really great confidence builder. It was so exciting to have won our first race, as they got the score wrong initially. And so when we found out that we actually did win, it was really exciting. It really made the rest of our trip. And I was lucky enough to have competed at both of our first races. The team was mostly split in half, and except me and Elena were able to compete in both races. And so being a part of both wins was just a really huge and exciting way to start the season.
So I think our 2-0 start to the season has been a really good confidence boost for us, just because we've had so many new people coming in, and just getting to see how the team has really come together. Even new people, sometimes, the vibes of the team can change, but everyone has fit in so well. We've been practicing so well. I feel like we're cheering each other on, being even stronger. And I think it's reflecting in our races. So like you said, starting 2-2, it's felt really good.
Velcheva led the way for the Frogs in the first meet with the 7th place overall finish with a time of 33:11, and is confident that that number and the success of the team will continue to improve.
Leading the team into the first race, it felt really great, obviously, but I'm honestly just so proud of how the entire team did, because every race is different. So sometimes, some of us are going to be ahead and some of us aren't. So it's just like, for example, the bike pack, me and Kira were in the same bike pack, and just like having her there when we were like cycling through and pulling off, we were like, all right, Kira, like you got this, or like she'd cheer me on. And honestly, just it helps so much. And then on the run course, when we're like going in opposite directions, I'm seeing my teammates, they're seeing me, we're cheering each other on. And honestly, I feel like that's what helped get me through, at least. So I just love feeling that sense of, sportsmanship and like having that team feeling out there on the course. So then obviously like coming out of that race with a win, we were all super excited because that was a super sprint too. So starting off the season, it's half the distance of a sprint. So it's a little different than what we're used to, a little faster paced, and just coming out with a win was just a little cherry on top.
Buchanan finished runner-up at the team's win at the Duquesne Invitational, and how proud she is of her team that the rest of her 5 teammates that competed in this event all finished in the top 10.
I'm really proud of myself. I do think I had a pretty good race, but I don't think I would have done nearly as well if I didn't have my teammates by my side the whole time. I mean, they pulled me through the bike, they pulled me through the run, they were right with me the whole time. I think I was only a couple seconds ahead of all of them. I mean, we finished all together, so it really was a team effort, that win.
The growth of the team is evident as the season is early, but the regional race is next month, and the chance to earn that ring at nationals is at the beginning of November.
So far, I think our season has been progressing really well. We went into it, obviously we started off strong, but we've been building into it as we go. So I'm really excited for our home race. All of us are gonna be racing at the same time for the first time this season, which is really exciting. So there's just gonna be extra teammates on the course. So that's really exciting. And I think just keep building on our practices, keep working hard. I mean, we're out here every day. We're here for each other, but we know how hard we're working for this. So I think it's just going to be really important for us to just remember that, all the work we've put in throughout the months. And it is a quick, fast-paced season, but we've been putting in work since the summer. So honestly, just having it all tie together. And we're all so strong. We're all pretty much in this strong group together. So I think it's just going to be really cool just having the whole squad there and then just seeing how we can pull it together for regionals and nationals.
So I think that one thing that we've already been working on a lot throughout the season was the depth of the team. So it's not that we have one strong area. We have been working on everyone's weaknesses. And so everyone is really strong in all 3 areas, the swim, bike, and the run. We don't have a weak link, and I think that's really going to be what pulls us through to potentially even podium at nationals.
What are some important characteristics of this team that need to continue to grow to have the best shot at a national championship?
Well, we're really going to start working on some run speed, run ability. We try to pull back on that to try to avoid injury too early in the season. So really it's just starting to get down to the nitty-gritties and working on more transition-specific workouts, getting really fast with that, getting a little bit more run miles probably here in the next month that we're building towards the second half of the season. That's really it. We just get a little bit more specific with race-specific stuff, starting to do bricks in the pool, starting to do things that are high intensity, very specific to a certain race that we're coming at. We start broad and you start to kind of narrow down as you get closer to the end of the season.
In case you aren't aware of what the sport consists of, you might be out of breath as we hear about it, but this sport is incredibly demanding, and here is some of what it consists of.
And obviously, triathlon is 3 things instead of just one. It's swimming, biking, and running. And so our sprint distance is a little over an hour of just straight endurance. You're just giving your all the whole time. And so the transitions are really important because coming out of the swim, you can lose a bike pack in that transition. And it's really important because we're draft legal. So staying with a strong bike pack can really help your race and help you improve your placement. So the swim to bike transition is really important. But then same goes for the run, because if your bike pack takes off without you and you start on the run and you're by yourself, you're screwed for the whole 5K. So yeah, it is just a lot of just giving it your all. But the transitions are kind of keys that tie it all together and can really help improve the performance and your race as a whole.
Every course is very different, and some can be different distances just depending on where it is and how they set up the course. But our swim is always 750 meters. This is the rough everyone's attacking each other for 750 meters. No one can breathe. And so you finally get out of the water and you start running to transition. And this is where the courses can differ because sometimes the run out of transition is long, sometimes it's short, and sometimes it's people's strengths, sometimes it's people's weaknesses. And so the different courses can really have an effect on who does well and like what your strengths are. The bike is a 20K, so it's like 12.2 miles, I think. And it's all about what pack you can stay with and who you can break away from if biking is your strength. For me personally, I just try and hold on to the pack that I'm with because running is one of my strengths and I just need to be able to stay with people on the bike. So the run is a 5K, and this is the fun part for me. I love being able to run the 5K. So you just run usually with the people who you come off the bike with, you're racing against the people who are in your bike pack, and it's just all fun and games from there.
Triathlon hosts their own race next weekend, the Battle in the Fort Triathlon, taking place at Marine Creek. What do we expect out of the team in that event?
It's going to be more competitive than last year. We have more teams, and those teams have even faster kids now from international, everywhere. What I would love to see for our girls is to have a solid race, put a great race together as a springboard for the end of the season. I would love to see our girls come out. We have a couple in the first pack on the bike and work together with each other if they come out a little bit back to build back up again, because that course is something that we've trained on and we practice and know it, and they can use the corners and the elevation changes to their advantage. Hopefully it's really warm, so it benefits us too, so the people that are coming from the north usually struggle a little bit, so we would love for it to be really hot. But yeah, we would just love to see them work together and enjoy the experience.
Well, I am so excited to be able to show off to Fort Worth what we have built as a team. This race that we're hosting next week is going to be one of the most competitive races we've competed in all year. So it'll be super exciting to see how we compare to some of the best teams in the nation and show them what we've got.
Well, I mean, it's really exciting because we won our home race last year, which was just like a great feeling because it's our home race. Like, we defend the fort. So obviously we're hoping to do that again this year. But I think just, I don't know, expect really strong performances. I'm really excited to have, since it is a home race, there can be other people from Fort Worth and TCU coming to cheer us on. So honestly, just like a strong community and strong performances from all of us, I'm hoping.
As you heard, the Tri-Ladies are looking forward to showing off to Fort Worth how good they are and look to defend their win from last year in the first annual event. Now to men's cross country, history is being made as the men have won all 3 of their races over the last 3 weeks. Not only have they won all 3 meets, they earned the first male Big 12 Runner of the Week, going to Tate Underwood, as he stood atop the podium for the first time in his career at the Gerald Ritchie Invitational on September 7th. Frogs Today spent some time at practice this week and got a chance to talk to Graydon Morris, Noah Winters, and CJ Meyer on the historic start of the season.
I think just, everybody kind of putting in the work this summer and being disciplined and holding themselves accountable. And so when we all kind of came back together at the beginning of the semester, we were all fit and kind of in a good place, and we fed off of that energy, and now we're just pushing each other in workouts. So like over the summer, you're running solo and it's kind of difficult, but when you get the group around you, the energy goes up and, everybody's just pushing each other.
Really just showing up, putting in the work. We've never had a team this deep, and to be able to train together like this every day, it's just multiplying all of our efforts, and we've been able to hit times and just efforts that we've never thought we're capable of doing, and we're doing that on a daily basis, and that's obviously resulted in 3 wins and an amazing start, the best start we've ever had.
I think just this year, we have a lot of people that are just really dedicated. We all came into the season really fit, and we had really great summers of training. And I think the biggest difference is that we all really believe it this year. We all know that we're a good enough team to go out there and do what we've done so far. We've expected it up to this point. So the biggest thing now is just keeping our heads on straight, staying hungry, and just starting to move forward.
Morris won the first meet and was runner-up last week at the Texas A&M Invitational. His performance and the expectations set out the beginning of the season are nothing short of getting his team on the map.
Yeah, so big emphasis this year on just kind of running as a team. Cook really focuses on pack running, and he's always kind of believed that we could be winning these races like this. And for a while, I was kind of skeptical of it, and then you eventually hear something enough and you'll start to believe it. And I think that's kind of what happened. Like, Cook was just kind of talking about it so much that we all started to believe it, and now we've put in the work, we've got the fitness, and we're performing on race day and executing the plan, and it's working out.
Winters and Myers both finished in the top 10 of all 3 meets. And second, those expectations, and what will the focus be leading into preparing for their next meet in October?
Well, truthfully, the weeks with meets are easier, because we have some downtime, some time to recover and get ready for the meets so we can hit them as hard as we can. But these next 3 weeks, we're going to be locking ourselves away in the pain cave and just working our butts off.
Well, the first 3 meets, we really just wanted to kind of set a tone for the rest of the season, since now we kind of have this 3-week training block. But the first meet, it was definitely to go out there, sweep the meet, our home meet, make a statement, which we did. And then the next 2 meets, we just wanted to, again, go win them and just kind of prove that, we're going to be something a force to be reckoned with by the end of the year. So that was just kind of our goal. And now we get to go back to training, go back to work, and then see what the end of the year brings.
The day in the life of a Division I cross-country athlete is about training, eating, and resting, and some school in there too.
Find myself spending a lot of time just, it's going to sound cliche, but eat, sleep, train, school, and that's pretty much it. So, early morning runs, I'll come back. Sometimes we'll have a double with like a lift or something like that, and then homework, and then I'm in bed most nights by like 8:30. So that's pretty much it.
It's not fun. It's not fun. Getting up at 5, eating a little bit, coming out here for 6 every day, meet every day pretty much. And then classes, second practice in the afternoon, and then homework and sleep. It's just keeping yourself healthy, eating right. It's not exciting, but, it's just doing the small things every day, and they add up over time.
Yeah, so I guess when you have a meet week, you kind of have a lighter weeks and, only one really hard workout and then a few extra recovery days to get ready for the meet. So the next 3 weeks, it's really going to be 2 pretty good workouts a week with a good long run at the end. So just upping the volume and the intensity maybe a little bit and trying to kind of sharpen up a little for the end of the year so that we can be in even better fitness.
The team heads to La Tech MOOC 4 Invitational on October 5th. We will be back with golf and tennis when we return.
Welcome to the Squire Shop.
We're locally owned and operated since 1994.
We specialize in the finest men's clothing that the market has to offer at affordable prices with unbelievable service.
We do custom clothing all the way to more casual, Peter Millar, Johnny O, kind of everything. Well, my dad's the owner, so I've been around retail my whole life. Oh, it's great. I mean, it's the best boss I'll ever have. I know that.
We love our TCU community. They have been so good to us. Come see us today. Go Frogs!
Welcome back, Frog fans. We have to get you up to date on golf and tennis news, and we start with men's golf, who travel to San Antonio today for the Valero Texas Collegiate. Second-year head coach Bill Alcorn talks what he is seeing out of his group in season 2.
Here in year 2, we're starting to see kind of the foundation of what we're building, carry over from last year and into these guys here. We got 7 new players, and so we're within the first month of the season. We're still figuring each other out, but the qualifying scores have been very, very good back home. It's just a matter of taking that on the road, and we got a great opportunity, really the next 3 weeks, playing in San Antonio, playing back home at Colonial, and playing at Big 12 match play outside of Houston. We got 3 great opportunities for our guys to show off.
Alcorn explains to Frogs today where the team is, coming off the 8th place finish as they started the season in Washington.
Yeah, so, last week when we were up at Sahali in Washington, our guys did a good job of just sticking to the game plan that we kind of laid out, just making sure we not necessarily have to hit every green, but just make sure the ball is missed in the correct places. It was a place that had a lot of small greens, and you weren't going to hit a lot of them. So you wanted to make sure your ball was in a good spot to either get it up and down, chip in, or make a good 20, 30-foot putt. And so that discipline we're going to need to carry over to the Valero tournament this next week. The greens are always pretty firm. They don't have the overseat on them right now, so they're Bermuda and pretty kind of undulated around the greens too. So it's going to the smart team and talented team, but you really need play this golf course in a very smart way in order to be successful.
With eyes set on Valero and San Antonio this weekend, what has he learned and what was the focus preparing for this second event?
Yeah, so going into the San Antonio week and the Valero week, we're really excited as a squad. You know, we're narrowing down our squad who's going to be in the top 5, and we do have an individual this week, so I'm excited. We're going to get to take 6 down there. Today we're going to really focus on tee balls and approach play. That's kind of something we're going to hammer on the next couple days leading into Thursday and then Friday's practice round, and so excited. We're out here just getting some good work in, and the next couple days we'll have that focus of making sure our numbers are dialed in. You know, playing in Texas is nice. We don't have to make, you know, altitude adjustments and that type of stuff when we travel kind of different parts of the country. So staying in Texas is always easier for us, and I think our guys are going to be ready to go.
Senior transfer Scott Roden led the team with an individual 8th place finish, but surprisingly, it was his first collegiate tournament, and Roden explains how that felt.
It felt good on a course like that. There was a pretty anxious golf course, and one that you really had to kind of stay present and think your way through. It was kind of tough staying comfortable the whole time, so it was good to get a good round on, you know, the second round. And obviously the hole-in-one, I birdied my second hole of the day and then made a hole-in-one on the 4th, and kind of getting that 3 through 4 start on a course like that was really helpful. Kind of helped settle me into the round really well. But overall, I felt like I could have hit, you know, my longer clubs better and kind of put myself in better position on the par 5s. But aside from that, I felt like I stayed really present and played the course, plotted around really well.
Roden talks about his team and where they're heading on the road.
Yeah, I think we're starting to get along really well. We've got some great new freshmen that are anxious to get better, and it's been nice having another 5th year, so I'm not the only old guy on the team. So having Joseph Pagden and another guy that I've known for a long time and played a lot of junior golf with, and he has a lot of experience as well, so it's been good to kind of have another guy in my shoes, as well as a lot of hungry young guys and 3 returners that are kind of the anchors of the team that have kind of showed us the ropes.
Coming in as a transfer, what is it about TCU that drew him here, and what are the expectations for this seemingly new program?
Really, Coach Alcorn. I had some friends that played with him or played under him while he was at OU, and we had kind of a good relationship off the bat when we started talking, and I think we were on the same page about kind of what I wanted to get out of this year, and you know, there wasn't any significant expectations. It was more kind of process oriented and what we wanted to work on and kind of how we wanted to tackle this year, and I feel like we're off to a great start, and I look forward to the rest of the year. You know, we really set some concrete goals, some, you know, concrete measurable goals at the start of the year, and we've been keeping each other really accountable, and from kind of performance goals and outcome goals to statistical goals and, you know, week to week things we want to improve. And so we've been doing a lot of work and keeping each other accountable, meeting every Monday morning, kind of going over what got better that week and then what we need to go kind of work on the following week. And it's really just been a very strategic and kind of targeted practice week to week, and I mean, it's been great for me. The regiment here is something that I don't think a lot of teams have, and the coaches have implemented a new blueprint that's really got us improving at, I think, a pretty rapid pace. One of our goals at the start of the year was to be a top 30 team and eventually to make it to the national championship, but these first 3 tournaments, Sahali, Valero, and San Antonio, and then our home event at Colonial are going to be stacked fields with some of the best players in the country, so it's a good opportunity for us to get our feet under ourselves and kind of establish where we're at as a new program and kind of show them what we're about and see if we can take the steps necessary to reach our goal of getting to that level.
More golf news. Turning to the women, head coach Angie Ravioli Larkin won her 19th tournament championship in her 31-year career here at TCU and has a great mix of experience and youth on her team.
Yes, Kentucky was great to us. Obviously, coach is awesome, and I'm not surprised that she's doing great things. She's going to continue to do great things. The weather, we got really good weather. So it was just a really fun week, and we just enjoyed as much as we could. We had the same mentality as Pebble Beach, just do our best and just see at the end what we would get, and ended up being a win. So
yeah, I mean, I think I said this last time, but Pebble is like heaven on earth to me. It's the best place I've ever been. And I think that finish there, it wasn't a win, but it was strong. And we kind of got a glimpse of what our team was capable of. The next few days we got back home, we kept working hard, and then went to Kentucky. And me and a couple other girls were talking. We just had this feeling like we knew. And then I think once you have won, it's a good confidence booster to know that you can keep going. And we feel really good going into Schooner this week.
I think what really prepared us is, like I said about Pebble Beach, is we were playing with a really good field, and our preparations leading up into Kentucky was really good too. And I feel like our confidence level was really, really high. And with this team chemistry, because of how strong it is, I feel like we're able to push each other more. And when we went to Kentucky, I feel like everyone was prepared. Everyone was ready to just leave it all out on the course and give it our all. And I feel like because of the results, we're all not shocked because of winning that tournament, because of our preparations and our mindset. I feel like that's what really got us to win the tournament. And for myself, getting second place, I didn't really think about it either. I was more thinking about helping out the team and doing my best and just going through the process than placing top 5, top 10, all of that. I just really wanted to help my team out and really focus on the process more.
I mean, right after the round, when we had just figured out we got it done, there were some emotions flowing from coach and a few of us, and just a really cool feeling that was my first team college win. So just personally really cool. And I think for the rest of the girls also, because it's been the first one for TCU in a few years. I don't think we really knew what to do, but we were just super excited. Different emotions were flowing, and coach said we have 24 hours to celebrate. So we, had a blast. We're soaking it in and then get back to work like we always do.
Ravioli Larkin gives us some insight on that championship run last week and how her team is coming together.
Yeah, so, after our team building before the season started, I knew this team was special. Wins are super hard to come by in college golf, and the fact that they led from start to finish, it is even harder at any level. So to see them that last day really just so comfortable for such a young team. We got so many compliments, just that one coach said they are so unfazed today. The whole week was just, they just looked really comfortable. I think Pebble Beach was a great, start. Even that was a special team building, if you will, just being in that environment and spending so much time together starting off. So, yeah, super proud. We still have a lot of work to do. Even, with that win, I say you can celebrate for 24 hours and now we got to move on. We're only as good as our next one. So, just going into OU tournament, the Schooner, preparing for that. We've had a really good week. I can see the confidence, rising. At the same time, really just staying humble and hungry and going on to the next one. We've got a long season. It's kind of cliche to say it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, and that's what college golf is. It is all year long. We start in August and we don't end till the end of May.
The Schooner Fall Classic starts tomorrow and goes through Monday.
We came from a win. We had 24 hours to celebrate, and then we came back to work. So just trust all the process that we've been putting in, and just all the work again, and hopefully we can win again, and we want to. I'm sure that it was the first win for the team this year, but I'm sure it's not going to be the last one. And was just very excited for the next few tournaments and ready to win more. Yeah.
Yeah, so I know the yardages. We've played there the last few years. We understand that golf course. We understand it's going to be set up a lot different than Kentucky, so we really needed to zero in on our wedges for the par 4s and par 5s, and then the par 3s play super long. So with the way I set up the golf courses this week here at Shady Oaks, the past few days at different golf courses, I've set up really long par 3s, and then set up the par 4s where we've got more wedges, 9 irons, some reachable par 5s, really working on our scoring zone, if you will, to prepare for OU.
In tennis news, the men's and women's tennis teams has representation at the Battle in the Bay Classic in San Francisco. And defending national championship men's tennis head coach David Roditi is excited about finally getting started.
Yeah, it's exciting. Finally get to see these guys compete again for us, even though they played all summer and they're always carrying that TCU flag wherever they go. We've had great summer from some of our players and guys that just graduated like Jake, but the fall gets started and it's actually busier than the spring because we had 3 guys going to California to Battle of the Bay, a really nice tournament. We had 2 guys go to Waco. Luckily we didn't have somebody else, but somewhere else. Because they are individual tournaments and individual sports, they're all playing sort of a different type of tournament, and it makes it busy, but it's fun. It's great to see these guys compete.
Louis Maxted and Duncan Chan have started the season off strong.
Yeah, so that was Duncan's first final. Well, he made it of a national tournament. Yes. He made it to the finals of the regionals last year in doubles. He also almost beat the number 1 player in the country, losing 7-6 in third. So Duncan had a great tournament, and we could see it coming. He's been playing well. He's been practicing really hard, made a couple of changes to his serve that is paying off. And then Louis as well changed his serve this semester and got off to as good a start as we could have hoped. I mean, he almost won a tournament where if you win it, you get a walk-on into this $100,000 event. So almost lost in the finals, but no, a good start, and we need it. You know, this is Louis' last year. This is his senior year, so he's stepping up into a new role of leading and playing at the very high of the lineup. So he looks like he's ready for it.
Coming off an NCAA national championship, how does this year feel a little different? And Roditi took us back to the moment they won the national championship and what that trophy has been through this summer.
It's, we lost some key players. We lost Jake, who's been doing really well out there. Lost Thomas, a lot of experience there. He won a huge match with Ohio State. And then we had a guy transfer that we were counting on playing really high this year. And then Jack could come back next semester or may not. So a lot of our team kind of depends on whether Jack comes back in the spring or not. We hope he does, but at the same time, we hope he does so well on the professional tour that he doesn't come back. So either way, we'll take it. I think this is a little bit of a rebuilding type year. We have a great recruiting class coming in 2025, so we're very excited about it. I think by the time next fall comes around, you'll see a completely new team. And we're excited about it. They're young, they're good, they're 3 top Americans, so people will see a different makeup to our team. They won't be as foreign like it's been the last 5 years. So we'll go back to being mostly American. Yeah, so what was going through my head right in that moment was a lot of emotion, a lot of relief, as in all that pressure and all that stress, relief, and just like, we did it. I can't believe we actually did it. And that's pretty cool because nobody can take it away. Summer of 2024. It should be like a CD. Summer of 2024. That trophy's been in the pool. It's been in a lake. It's been in Chicago, New York, everywhere. Midland. Yeah, it's been everywhere. And that trophy is not gonna look the same ever again. I'm telling you that, and that's okay. It's like the dash, you know. You don't want to look good when you die. You want to look like you've had a full life.
The ITA All-Americans are next for both the men and women, and the women are looking to build off their 11-7 start to their season in San Francisco with top wins over Oklahoma State, Pepperdine, Stanford, and USC. The 12th-ranked doubles team in the country of Jade Otway and Isabel Pascal were finalists in the event. Head coach Lee Taylor Walker mentioned it was a breakthrough weekend for the program, giving them a new level of belief.
Last but not least, the beach volleyball fall schedule has been released with the Sandy Frogs set to compete in 5 different tournaments. They will kick off the fall in October as they host the TCU Fall Challenge. And there you have it, Frog Nation. That has been this week's edition of Frogs Today. Thanks for joining us. Stay connected with all of TCU athletics right here at Frogs Today. And thanks for supporting us in the Showmire last season. And look forward to seeing you soon. For men's basketball, I'm Isaiah Manning.
Absolutely. Our season will be here before you know it. For everyone here at Roxelle Media House, for Frogs Today, and for TCU Women's Basketball, I'm Deasia, Merrill, and this has been Frogs Today for Friday, September 20th. See you in the Showmire, and thanks for watching. Go Frogs!
Roxelle Media House.